Hello, my name is Mathis Mars, and welcome to a different kind of video. For the entirety of October, I watched a horror movie every day. This video is just gonna be me talking about each movie individually, and basically my thoughts on each movie, what I liked, what I didn't like, just things I picked up on it while watching, or even while looking up the movie, seeing like any other things about it. Some fun facts maybe along the way. I don't really know. Now, I'm not gonna tell you that every single movie I watched was just like the scariest movie ever made. Like it's not all just terrifying movies. Some are like horror comedy, like just funny comedy, purely funny stuff, or just some will be like thrillers or stuff, just kind of all over the place. I even tweeted like every single day like what movie I was watching on that day. So if you want to go follow my Twitter for the next time I do this, because I will be doing this next year, you can go follow that, or all my social media even, at Mathis Mars everywhere. MATHIZMARZ, no spaces. Obviously, spoilers for every single movie I will be talking about. I feel like that should go without saying. But, let's get into each movie. For the first day, I watched Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, directed by James Signorelli. Also, disclaimer, I apologize if I mess up any director's name for each movie. But getting back on track, this movie turned 36 the day before I watched it, which was the 30th of September, 1988. That was the day it came out, not the day I watched it. I watched it on October 1st. I really enjoyed it. It was also the first time I've ever seen it. Which means I thought it was pronounced Elvira for some reason. I don't really know what made me think that, but that's just how I pronounced it. And also, Elvira is exactly the type of, it's just my type and who I look for. So, if you are a witch, hit my line. Please, I'm desperate at this point. For the second day, I watched The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, directed by Tobe Hooper, released on the 1st of October, 1974 in Austin, Texas, but on the 11th of October, 1974 in the rest of the U.S. It's pretty interesting. I liked how fast-paced it was, once the... Am I allowed? You know what, we'll say it. Once the killings started, they did not stop until like the very end of the movie. I really enjoyed the beginning with the music, visuals, and the sounds. They try to make you feel uneasy and uncomfortable. I really want like a movie that wants to actually scare you to make you feel that way. And I feel like they did a very good job at doing that. I felt like it needed more chainsaws though. I feel like the chainsaw wasn't used enough. Maybe in the sequel. I know there's a ton of sequels and remakes and that happened after this, so maybe then. I don't know. We'll just have to see, because this was my first time watching this. A lot of these movies were my first time watching. The third day was a movie added at the very last minute. Literally the night before. Salem's Lot, directed by Gary Dauberman. It literally came out the day that I watched it, so that's why I kind of added it. I saw the trailer and I was like, looks interesting enough. I laughed a lot. You see what I did there? More than I should have, I feel like. I also didn't know it was a vampire movie. I went into this movie like completely blind. Like, saw like a couple clips of it before it came out. That was really it. Still kind of enjoyed it. Not my favorite throughout this entire list, but also not like my least favorite. So yeah, it was good. Fourth movie was The Omen, directed by Richard Donner, released on the 25th of June, 1976. Quite slow paced compared to some of the other films I've seen, but very interesting. The concept of like the lines on the photo, which shows like how they're going to die in the near future, is a very interesting concept. Everyone even dying around Damien just because he brings like the dark energy is way too similar to my experiences recently. Not people dying, but I just got a lot of bad luck. Anyway, I like the movie. The ending, the cops not knowing like the full context of why Robert is doing what he's doing at the end, trying to kill the Antichrist, and then they kill him. And then Damien at the very last frame just stares into the audience with a little smile on his face. He's accomplished his goal, essentially, is what he's telling you. For the fifth movie, I watched The First Omen, directed by Arkasha Stevenson, which came out on the 5th of April, 2024. It is a prequel to The Omen, which don't know why I didn't watch the prequel before, but, whatever. I also watched this movie very late at night and hungry, basically sleep deprived, which I feel like made it a little even more scarier. The first jump scare that they throw out there that actually got me. I was like, oh. And I was just surprised. I was like, usually jump scares don't really get me like that, but this one did. The whispering that they have, I love that. If you watched The Voices, which was a short film that I did for the OTK film submission, I used that. I even threw it into the song I made to go along with the movie, which I love doing it. Even recording that, I was like, how do I do this? And I was like, you know what, I know how to do this. But getting back to the movie, it's very interesting to see how they tie everything into The Omen. Also, for some reason, I thought that The First Omen was based in 1500s, not months before The Omen takes place, or years technically. But I like how that the main character births Damien, and that's how they really tie everything together, and that they give him up for adoption to a specific type of person. While watching this, I noticed a few similarities between The First Omen and Immaculate, which is another movie on the list. We'll get to that. So, stay with me. That's we'll get to that soon. But I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. It was definitely a good watch, and I do recommend it. I do recommend also The Omen. You gotta watch them. They go together, hand in hand, basically. The sixth movie on the list was Infinity Pool, directed by Brandon Cronenberg, which came out on the 27th of January, 2023. Now, this movie, I had seen the trailer a couple of times, and I was very interested and wanted to see it, especially because Mia Goth is in it, and I love her. After seeing the whole X trilogy, my favorite movies right now, ever, probably. Horror movies, I should say. I kind of put everything into a genre. Anyway, this movie Infinity Pool has an amazing concept with kind of like doubling yourself after committing a crime, so that the double gets executed instead of you, and you're just kind of like scot-free. You just get to go home, or not home, like back to the hotel or whatever. Seeing yourself die in a third person point of view must be like some sort of crazy experience that I would like to have. Honestly, I would want to see that. I would want to know how I would even react to seeing myself die, and like watching myself get executed, and you just got to sit there and watch. Very interesting. But anyway, I don't even know like this movie's pretty fucking insane. Even like a month ago. It's December while I'm recording this. So it's been over a month. But I was talking to some people about like all the movies I watched, and they're like, "Oh, Infinity Pool. What do you think about that?" And I was like, "Oh, I loved it." And they're like, "You're weird for that." I'm like, "Huh?" But I get it, because the multiple people scene. I can't say the actual name, so if you know what I'm talking about. I was expecting that, honestly, but not to that degree. It was also a very interesting way of doing it. But I like the ending of the movie. This guy kills himself and gets like reborn in a way. And then, they're all leaving, and he just turns back around and goes right back to the hotel. No one's there. It's the rainy season. He's just gonna stay there all rainy season, just to like almost like a detox of people, because of everything he's just gone through. Which, everything he went through quite a lot throughout this movie, but it's very interesting. So yeah, love this movie. And if I'm weird for that, then I'm weird for that. I don't care. It was a fantastic movie. Love the way it was done. Yeah, it's amazing. The 7th movie was Silent Hill, directed by Christoph Gans. I can't read. And was released on the 21st of April, 2006. Now, I've never played the actual games before, even now after the Silent Hill 2 remake has come out. But I know like some basic information. I like the cinematography of this movie. Like the way some of these scenes are filmed is pretty good. A good example of that is when Rose goes into the restroom at the school and finds like the body, and it's just like switching between her and the body, and her gagging, and the different parts of even the body, like not even just like the singular frame of like just one image of the body and it just going back to that. It's seeing the different parts, like, Now, like I said, I haven't played the games, but I know some information. Like when Pyramid Head first shows up, I was like, oh yeah, I know who that guy is. As for the ending of this movie, that Rose and Sharon are stuck there was a good ending. Like, I kind of expected it, because like even as Dahlia said in the beginning, only the Dark One opens and closes the door to Silent Hill. Technically, there is no Dark One anymore, so, and the Dark One never opened the door back up for them. It only just closed it. So trapped there now for forever, I guess. I know people don't really care for now games that end up being turned into a movie adaptation, because most of the time Hollywood just kind of, anytime they make those, they kind of don't really follow the source material. They kind of follow like the basic storyline of it, but kind of switch it so that it would make sense for a movie instead of like a 70-hour game. So they just trim a lot of stuff down. They'll take away like some things, or they'll just change it entirely, which, you know, it makes sense. Like how many movie adaptations have stayed true to the game source, or even books? This is going to be a long one. The 8th movie was Immaculate, directed by Michael Moen, released on the 22nd of March 2024. I got to see this movie in the theaters. By the way, my fit for seeing that movie was, dare I say, and I apologize to say as well, immaculate. All right. Now, what's funny is I even remember trying to figure out what movie to go see, because I was just like, I got nothing to do. I want to go see a movie. And I was deciding between Immaculate or The First Omen. Now, remember earlier how I talked about The First Omen and I said no, some similarities? Well, we're going to get into that right now. So bear with me. They both started off with somewhat of an introduction to show you what the church is up to. Both religious movies. They both show you at the beginning what the church is kind of, what they're up to. You know, a little slight introduction like, oh, they're doing something not good here. And then right after that, you get introduced to the main character, and they both go to Rome to take their vows. The roommate becomes their best friend, and then there's even the weird one who dislikes the main character and offs themselves. Even the plot, just entirely, not even like the way like some of like it, like the script even goes. I feel like just like the entire like storyline is like so similar. Like couple tweaks, like couple differences between both of them, but pretty much the same. Immaculate is giving birth to a new Christ to make people believe again, and at the end, the main character kills the baby. The First Omen is giving birth to the next Antichrist to make people believe again, and then she tries to kill the baby, but doesn't succeed. Going back to the movie of this day, Immaculate, I like the attention to detail that they use. After Cecilia gets choked, you can still see the hand marks like around her neck, like in the next like few scenes. And the ending. I mean, come on, come on. Sydney Sweeney's just an amazing actress. She does a fantastic job. The moment the doctor leaves, she realizes the door's wide open, and it's almost like Sydney Sweeney was actually experiencing this, but you can see her like making the decision and really thinking about her escape. And then she eliminates Mother Superior and the Cardinal, burning down the lab so they can't redo everything. And then the screaming at the end, her like giving birth, it really, like, I remember seeing it in theaters and I was like, holy fucking shit, this is incredible. The 9th movie on the list was Longlegs, directed by Oz Perkins, and was released on the 12th of July, 2024. This movie kind of blew my expectations away. I only saw the first trailer and was very interested in seeing it. I only wish that I had gone to the theaters to see it. But, you know, life. It starts out the same way most horror movies go. You get like a slight introduction to like the villain of the movie, but they don't reveal like too much about the villain. And then you get introduced to the main character. I love the dolls being used as like a camera for the devil to use. It's very interesting, and like that ball is used as like a brain. Was very interesting choices. Um, I also didn't expect Longlegs to kill himself, or even that the mother was an accomplice to everything. And like the like usually like I can sort of tell like what's gonna happen. Like I can sort of like be like, okay, I feel like this is gonna happen, and usually it does happen. But this one, I couldn't tell what was going to. With this movie, I could not tell what was going to happen. Like, and I love that very much. I love being genuinely surprised at a movie, especially a horror movie. I thought they would have just ran with like the devil mostly and like not touched like the mother, like kind of forgotten about the mother, and they would have just like kind of ran with being like the devil being the accomplice. But that's why they're famous. That didn't come out right, but you know what I mean. I hope. One thing I did expect though is that the last people were going to be Agent Carter's family. As soon as they first said that, his daughter's birthday party, and like they mentioned that, and this girl going, I was like, oh, she's gonna be born on that day. That has that connection. Like as soon as like they like made all those connections, I was like, oh yeah, it's all gonna come together, and they're gonna be at the end. Oh yeah, it's all coming together. Um, I, however, didn't I just didn't expect it to end so abruptly after Lee kills the Carter and the mother, and kind of just like tell the kid like, okay, we're going, and then that's it. I was like, oh, interesting ending. All in all, fantastic movie. Cast did an amazing job. And I wonder, they could make a prequel. They could definitely make a prequel showing how a young Cobble became a follower of the devil, and how the doll idea came to be. I feel like that would be quite interesting. The 10th movie on the list was The Curse, directed by Sean Ellis, and was released on the 18th of February 2022. I saw the trailer for this movie when it was first announced, and I was like, okay, seems quite interesting. But then watching the actual movie, I was confused at points, wasn't entirely sure what was going on. And what's funny is I was even like excited once I saw that it was on a streaming service on Hulu, and I was like, oh, I got Hulu. I could add this to the list. I'm like, I could finally see this movie after so long of wanting to watch it. To be kind of disappointed almost. I don't know. Like this movie didn't speak to me as most of the other movies on this list. In the end, I kind of made like it all like ended up like tying together, but you know, definitely not my favorite, not among like top 10 of the list, but definitely still like an enjoyable watch. Now, movie number 11 was I'm Thinking of Ending Things, directed by Charlie Kaufman, and was released on the 28th of August, 2020. I remember watching this originally on my mother's birthday, but then I had to stop the movie to celebrate. I only got like maybe like 10 minutes into the movie, and I just hadn't watched it since. Now that I had fully watched the whole thing, I realized this is a long ass movie. I'm gonna work the next morning, but we're gonna watch the whole thing because I have to. I love the beginning monologue, and I even remember hearing it the first time, but you know, hearing it fully again, I was like, this makes sense. You know, I'll say the monologue. I'm thinking of ending things. Once this thought arrives, it stays. It sticks. It lingers. It dominates. There's not much I can do about it, trust me. I it really makes you think, and it's very true once like you really get into it, once you like actually think about each word in that monologue, in each like sentence. It's like, yes, that is very true. It's like once you kind of have a plan in motion, like there's not much you can do to really change yourself from finishing that plan. You're either gonna finish it or something really drastic happens that forces you to change it. Now, as I said, I watched this movie very late at it ended up being so late at night, and I had to work early in the next morning, but I stuck around because it's very interesting and keeps you like on your toes. It keeps you on your toes. What's funny is even like the fact you never know the main character's name. It's funny. Like even the subtitles just say young woman. She never has like a set name throughout the entire movie. She's called many things, but you're never even sure what her name is. Makes you think her name is just young woman. And also you're left wondering what's true and what's all just in someone's head. A scene that really caught me was around an hour 14. The woman takes on a completely different personality while they're driving in the car. You know, and moments in this movie just become random and out of nowhere. The dog just showing up, the parents changing, going through different stages of their lives, different ages, and even the food just appearing, but no one ever cooks. And also, I'm still not entirely certain what's real by the end of the movie. I don't know if that was because I was just very tired or because I just am genuinely stupid, which might be the latter. And it could be both. Let's be honest. Now, as I just said, I'm not too sure, but what I interpreted somehow was that it was all a play by Jake. Almost kind of like what it would have been like a memoir, sort of, maybe like a little exaggerated. But I feel like I'm wrong. I feel like I'm definitely wrong. And also I didn't know this was based on a book. Let me know in the comments, should I get the book and read it? Would that help me better understand? Or does someone in the comments have an answer for the ending? Because I still don't know 2 months later. It's literally the exact... I'm recording this on the 11th. On the 11th day. Nice. The 12th movie on the list was the original Hellraiser, directed by Clive Barker and was released on the 18th of September 1987. This movie is another classic movie that I have never seen before, and I apologize. Didn't really know what to expect while watching this. You know, I've never seen a trailer or even clips of this movie. The only thing I've heard about this movie really is Tara Reid. He like samples some like the stuff that Hellraiser says in the movie in his song. I forgot the name. I'll put it up. But yeah, it was really a fun movie to watch. And I really enjoyed it. And it's definitely a movie that has like rewatchability to it. Again, like I know Pinhead, like I've seen like people cosplay him. I know like even they have a show called Hellraiser, and like he's literally like the cover of it. So I thought he would have been like used way more throughout the movie. I thought he would have been like more of a villain like throughout the movie, because kind of I was just like led astray. But yeah. Also, characters in movies in general always make just dumb decisions. But like The Kirsty really thinks she could destroy the box in a regular fire. Really? Anyway, how the dragon creature takes the box away, takes the box and just flies away, and then you see it with the person selling it again, like kind of just restarting the whole process. It's like, how often have they done this? How old are each of them? You know? The 13th movie was Coraline, directed by Henry Selick, and was released on the 6th of February 2009. One of my favorite movies of all time. I gotta say it. I love all the subtle... I can't speak. I love all the subtle foreshadowing that nothing is as it seems in the other world. A good example is the double loop on the letter O on the word home when they bring her the cake. A double loop on the letter O suggests that whoever wrote it is lying. So, Coraline's welcome, but she's not home. Yeah, I learned that I think a couple weeks before watching it. Another is the hand shown in the teacup. Although not subtle, but it shows the Bedlam's hand, while Miss Fink says she's in terrible danger. And also, even when it's like raining and it's thunderstorming outside, you see the hand. You know, I could probably talk about this movie for hours and hours, but don't want to take up more time. Want to talk more about the movies that I've never seen before, and I've seen this movie a lot. So all I gotta say is, would a sequel work, and would you watch a live action version? The 14th movie on the list was Night of the Living Dead, directed by George Romero, and was released on the 1st of October 1968. Another movie that was a first time watch for me. So didn't know what to really expect, but I'm glad I watched the father of zombie movies before the rest on my list. Really liked the car driving with the unsettling music. I also didn't expect things to happen so quickly. Kind of just a couple minutes in, just immediately starts. Thought they would go more into how it started, but it didn't, and I'm glad. I like how during the fight scenes, I guess, while they're running away from zombies or killing them, I guess, there's almost no talking. It's just the music playing. A funny thing I noticed is when Ben takes the body outside the house, he has so much time to take the body outside, light it on fire, and go back to inside, close the door and all that. And the zombies just were moving so slow that he had time to do so much before they got anywhere close to him. I don't know. It was kind of funny to me. But now a genuine question. Why did Ben punch Barbara? It's just so uncalled for, I feel like. One thing that's kind of funny but not really funny is just, even in a zombie apocalypse, humans will still find something to argue about. The feud between Ben and Cooper, they fought until the very end. Enough about my hatred for alive humans. Now let's go to the ones that have been brought back to life. In this movie, the zombies are quite smart, and smashing car windows with bricks and using whatever they find to break down windows and doors of the house. That scared me. I don't know if it picked up on my mic, but my aircon just made a weird noise, and it just legitimately scared me. Alright. I watch too many horror movies, maybe. I don't know. But, What was I saying? I was talking about the zombies, how smart they are. Yeah, usually in zombie movies, the zombies are just like, they don't really do that. They just, that's it. And then if they get you, then they eat you. But that's like, yeah. Another thing I liked is how none of them survived. None of like the main people you see throughout the movie lived. Even Ben, he did so much to survive, and then just to get downed like he was a zombie himself. It's a very interesting choice. Day 15, give it up for day 15. Day 15, movie 15 was do I even want to say this? I'm not even gonna, I can't pronounce it. It was directed by Pablo Larraín and was released on the 31st of August, 2023, in Venice, and the 15th of August, 2023, on Netflix. Quite interesting. I had hot chocolate with marshmallows while I was watching this. It's not really relevant to the movie or really even my experience, but I just wanted to share that. I saw the trailer when it was first coming to Netflix, and was quite interested. The day I watched the movie, I was talking to my father who had seen it, and all he said was, "It's crazy." And I was like, "Okay, that's fun." I like the story of how, he wanted to be king, and then he faked his death. The idea of a vampire so old that they need a walker is absolutely hilarious. Because usually, like, in movies, they don't, like, vampires, like, just stop aging from when they are turned. So, like, they're just that age, they stay looking like that, they, like, nothing happens to them. So, I don't know, just seeing an old zombie just with walkers walking just it was just funny. I also like the fact that he falls in love with someone who's trying to kill him. It was like a toxic relationship, kind of, but way more toxic. And like the narrator being the Count's mother was an interesting choice, but a welcome one. The ending just ended up becoming everyone just kind of offing each other, and then the Count just going back to being a kid and got a happy end. He just restarted his whole life, basically. Now I wonder what became of his children. The 16th movie on the list was The Dead Don't Die, directed by Jim Jarmusch, and was released on the 14th of June, 2019. Another movie I talked about with my father, because again, he had seen it, and again, all he said was, "It's crazy." Didn't expect there to be, like, so many, like, famous actors that I've seen in other stuff in this movie. Like, every time someone would appear, I'm just like, oh, they're in it. Getting into the movie now, I love the scene where you first see, like, the dead bodies of Fern and Lily, and every person that walks into the diner and then walks, like, it's literally like the exact same scene repeated for each person. So they walk in, they turn, look at each body, go back out, and then they ask the exact same questions. Was it a wild animal? Several wild animals? it was like, I love that it was done. This is one of those horror comedy movies, and it's done amazingly well. Ronnie instantly saying that he thinks it's zombies, and then just Cliff being just so baffled by it. It's like, I think it's zombies. Like, if you're like, the only way you'd think it's zombies is if you know you're in a zombie movie or show. And then everyone just starts thinking that it's zombies is quite funny. Like, not even just Ronnie. Zelda. Character Zelda. Her personality just being like a shy person but wanting to kind of be just like well informed is quite similar to me, I feel like. I'm pretty, well, not when I'm there, like when I'm just out into the world as the other guy. I'm kind of just shy. I kind of just stick to myself. But like, I would like to always know what's going on. And then her even being skilled with a blade. As I'm sort of skilled with a blade. Somewhat. Now, the zombies. I didn't expect them to talk. It was funny and very interesting for a zombie to talk. I feel like it's never... Well, for me, I haven't seen anything where a zombie just starts talking. I think Zombieland Double Tap was like the only other time I think I've seen like a zombie talk, and that's because it's like a different breed of zombie. But in this one, it's almost like the words that they say are the last words they said before they died. Basically, when they show the pharmacy, all the zombies there are just like naming different drugs and stuff. It was, I don't know, it was just funny. And I like how quickly the zombies overtake the town. In only one night, they got everyone locked in their homes or jobs, or like half of them are eaten already or turned. Or even more than half, I think. I gotta go back. Ronnie, I love that character. His humor and nonchalance makes him just a great character. Plus, him having a Star Destroyer keychain was like a funny sight to see because he played Kylo Ren in Star Wars. Especially because this is around the time that he was doing the sequel. So I was like, that's funny. That's funny. And then even the scene, him and Cliff are talking about the script. Ronnie's like, oh yeah, I knew this was gonna happen. He's like, I've been saying it all movie. I know it's gonna happen. He's like, it was in the script. Cliff's like, it's in the script. He's like, I didn't. He's like, you got a full script? And then I just got confused when a fucking UFO came out the sky. And then laughed when they name dropped when they just mentioned the script again. Oh, man. The ending was a cinematic masterpiece, and the monologue while they kill all the zombies and the use of stop motion was just spectacular. The 17th movie on the list was Cuckoo, directed by Tillman Singer, and was released on the 9th of August, 2024. I had seen the trailer to this movie back when I'd seen the re-release of X, and when I saw Maxine. Again, my favorite movies of all time right now. And thought it was quite amazing. I had to see it. Unfortunately, didn't see it in the theaters, so fast forward a couple months, I'm watching it in the comfort of my own home. Literally right here where I'm sitting. And there are actors even in this movie that I just absolutely love, like Dan Stevens. I'm rewatching Legion right now, and I'm just like, yeah. And a few months ago, before I even thought to do this whole like movie thing, he was in Abigail, which Vampire Ballerina, which was a hilarious movie. Getting to the movie, the first scene that caught my attention was when Alma gets stuck in that trance and Gretchen just goes into like a loop, like taking off her headphones and like looking over, seeing her like in the loop, and then going to run over, and then it just repeats the whole thing over and over for like a few minutes. And then even the chase at the beginning, and then the woman just disappears. It's just like, ooh, where'd she go? Why, the police can't find her. Ooh. The movie was amazing, and I know I've said that for quite a few movies, and I'm gonna keep saying it. But it's true. People can make really amazing movies, and the sound for when the creature screams is amazing. For the audience, it's sort of unsettling, which is probably what they were going for, honestly, just like an unsettling sound. the little standoff at the end between Frank and Herr Koenig was great. They both know like what's about to happen, and then they still shoot each other. I still wonder, did they return back to the parents, or did they just leave the country altogether? The 18th movie on the list was Evil Dead Rise, directed by Lee Cronin and was released on the 21st of April 2023. I had plans to go see this movie in the theaters with a few people, but plans fell through, and I ended up just watching it by myself when it came to streaming services, and I enjoyed it. It's definitely a good movie. Visual effects were amazing. Makeup amazing. Cast did a great job. But I don't know. I feel like it was more just, I don't know. I don't even know like how to really explain it. I had seen the first two Evil Dead movies, still missing the third one, and I'm gonna watch the show. I know it technically isn't like canon, I think, if I'm not mistaken, but I'm still gonna watch it. I don't know. I feel like this one was more, how much blood can they really use? I feel like it was more just, how much blood can we include in a movie before it gets like too crazy? Well, basically, how gory can we kind of get? Which I feel like is what most horror movies are nowadays. It's more just about gory stuff, which for some movies it'll be good, but for some others it won't. Like a continuation of Evil Dead, like I feel like it shouldn't just be about gore. But you know, it's still worked out pretty well. The beginning of the movie, I feel I like how they mimic, or not mimic. It's kind of just continuing like the tradition of how especially the first. Again, I haven't seen the third one, so I don't know if they started the same way. Going through like the stuff, like going through everything and just woo, 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 all like the fast-paced camera movement that they do. Like it's like honoring that, like staying true to what they're coming from, basically. One thing I definitely found funny and that I just like laughed at for some reason was at the beginning when they're trying to get Ellie to a hospital. They go to the stairs. They're like, "Oh, open the door to the stairwell," and Danny goes over. He just goes, "They're gone." I don't like. Again, I don't know why it made me laugh so much, but I feel like it was just the delivery of the line just made me laugh. I don't really know why. Yeah. With this movie, I feel like they tried to appeal to fans of like the original, like, you know, with like the chainsaw moments that they had. And it's like, she's gonna be like the new. Why can't I remember I can't remember his name. The character's name. The main character. You guys know what I'm talking. I can't right now. But I feel like she's gonna be like the new main character of like this whole new time. I feel like the characters themselves went through some serious trauma. Beth at the end of the movie just like had a crazy look in her eye. She's just like a psychopath now, which I get sometimes. Apparently there are also 2 more spin-off movies. I don't know how true that is, but leave a comment if you would want them to make more without Sam Raimi directing them and just being a producer. Or would you rather Sam Raimi go back and direct them, write the script and everything, and just basically take back his movies? The 19th movie on the list was Midsommar, directed by Ari Aster, and was released on the 3rd of July, 2019. Now, I have never seen anything from this movie. No clips on social media, no trailer, nothing. So I really did not know what to expect. All I've ever heard was that it was disturbing. The movie starts out very quite sad and depressing, honestly. She loses her parents and her sister. Her boyfriend has been wanting to break up with her for over a year, although she doesn't know that. But as someone watching in the audience, you're like you know that, and you're seeing everything she's going through, and you're like, oh, the cinematography in this movie is absolutely beautiful throughout like the entire movie. The sound design, especially when the jumping scene happens. I try to illustrate it because I don't think I can really describe what happens without me getting demonetized here. It was spectacular. The way the sound is muffled when like everybody's arguing, the music's stopping once the guy hits the ground and you just hear the thump. It's just amazing. The actual story is great and easier to follow than some other movies. Love spell is something that I need in my life. Anyway, I knew that Dani would be crowned May Queen from the moment it was mentioned. I was like, oh yeah, that's gonna be her. And even just the entire ending, I can't even put into words or describe how fantastic it was. Once the credits rolled, I clapped. Like, I genuinely just had to clap. Basically a standing ovation right here. I don't know. None of the other movies have really made me, even the ones later on the list, have really made me want to just give it a standing ovation, but this one really made me feel something. Didn't cry, but made me feel something deep inside my soul. The 20th movie on the list was the original Pet Sematary, directed by Mary Lambert, and was released on the 21st of April, 1989. Before I get into this, I just want to say, fuck them kids. I wasn't expecting the scene where the baby dies. I thought it would be more about zombie pets and people's pets coming back to life, and not more about him bringing back the baby and the baby coming back to life. I don't know. I feel like the title kind of misleads you almost. But I like the use of the dead guy, Pascal, acting almost like a subconscious and attempting to stop Lewis from burying Gage's lifeless body at the pet cemetery. The ending was quite alright. Lewis stopped the demon possessing Gage and burned down the house. But then he retries everything with his wife. And again, he's warned, but he still does it. And then, of course, it didn't work. And he died too. He literally fucked around and found out. I know there's a sequel and 2 remakes. Are they any good? Are they worth the watch? The 21st movie was Terrifier 2, directed by Damien Leone, and was released on the 6th of October 2022. Now, I saw the first one a couple months before even starting the list, and thought it was great as far as slashers go. And now, I wrote the script the day while I was watching. I write each description of the movie as I'm watching it, so that's fresh in my brain, and I just keep writing. What I said was, the third one is recently released, and I have high hopes for that one, especially because the Ice Nine Kills song, a work of art, which I do want to do a cover of. Now, the movie. The amount of gore is pretty insane. They really try to top it each time. like they definitely try to like, how far can we really go? What new ideas can we come up with? David Howard Thornton does an amazing job, and just fantastic job. I also love like the scenes where like the villain will get hurt. Like the Scream movies do that pretty well, and this one does like a pretty good job. Even just funny random scenes, like the scene where in the Halloween store and he's just like going through the different stuff. Suddenly, he just has like the sunglass, like the sunflower glasses on. He's I love like comedy aspects in like a serious slasher. Like imagine just like Halloween, but Michael Myers just makes like fart noises with his armpit. I don't know. That's the first thing that came to my head. I should just stick to the script. Anyway, and I again going back to like the way like the gore and like new ideas. It's crazy how much like even like if art was like a real person like doing all this, how he always has a new way of torturing his victims. It's insane. Like he always has some new tool that he's using that it never gets repeated, basically. To make sure that your victim is in the most excruciating pain possible is in such creative ways too is quite inspiring. Not to do the same as he's doing, but to work on myself as a person and all my other concepts that I want to do. I gotta say, Elle Mother. I hate myself that I even said it like that. Oh, okay. She didn't believe her children once. And even Jonathan's asking her about the drawings that the dad made, and she just rips up the whole book and like, why are you doing that? And then she gets her head fucking blown off. Like I just gotta say, deserved. Sorry. Speaking of dying, in quite like a funny way, I guess. The fact that Brooke says it's not like this night could get any worse, and then like a few minutes later she dies. It's just, it's almost like, I don't know. Like, how do you come up with this shit? The ending was great. You know, I like when Sienna gets the upper hand, and even the look on Art's face when Jonathan even cocks the gun. But then even after he shoots him, it's still not over yet. But also, how much pain can a person endure before they die? Because Sienna goes through a lot and lives through it all. I like the supernatural aspect of this one. I feel like it dives into that one like quite a lot for the second one, which would make sense. Because if you want to continue the story, like these movies are making money, like they're very popular, so obviously they want to continue the story. You can't just do like some Michael Myers thing where he's just like, it's never explained how a single man just survives everything, but more that there's something more going on with him. So like him just being birthed was so random. just I don't know. Can't wait to see the third one still, even in December. The 22nd movie was Late Night with the Devil, directed by Cameron and Colin Cairns, and was released on the 22nd of March 2024. Another movie which I watched the trailer and was curious about, especially even once I saw David Dastmalchian. Sorry if I mispronounced. Real quick, I just want to say, have you ever seen, it's a Family Guy meme about like all like showing the different companies that made the movie before the movie actually starts, and it's just like it keeps going and going and going. I feel like that happened with me with this movie. I was like, oh, here's the movie, and then I was like, oh, nope, there's another company that made the movie possible. Although the movie itself is amazing, I'm not going to pronounce his last name, so I'll just say David. We're not on a first name basis, but David does an amazing job portraying the talk show host. And I love that he was a successful late night host once, but then his wife dies and and his views dip, and then he looks to getting the devil onto his show to get his views back up and be number one. Even you could tell when Gus is talking about Chris Su's death, he says, "You're not a bad man, Jack." It shows that no matter how good a person is, there will always be something that they want. I don't know where I was going with that. The scene where the devil or demon shows up is great. The voice, the look, the chair floating up, like I can always see where they kind of got like their inspiration from. The ending was fantastic. And I knew that when the wife was telling him to end the pain, that he would be ending it for Lily. And then just him just like being shocked and like not even knowing like what's going on. It was, I enjoyed it. Now, if you could commune with the dead, would you want to? Because I know I do. I would love to be able to talk to. I said stop. I'm kidding. There's no one there. The 23rd movie on the list was Veronica, directed by Paco Plaza, and was released on the 5th of January 2018. It is a Spanish movie that I've been wanting to watch ever since I heard a guy died while watching it. Don't know how true that is. Just gonna say that. I heard that once. Excuse me. Whew. Alright. Even I searched up the movie to like find more about it, and I learned that it's based on true events where a teenage girl named Estefania Gutierrez Lazaro died inexplicably. Inexplicably. Hard to talk with the mask on, honestly. Is also the first time in Spanish history that it was officially reported that paranormal activity was related to the case. Which, pretty crazy. that a police report was legitimately filed as this is paranormal activity going on here. Now, the movie. The scene where they're using the Ouija board and Veronica gets in a trance is great, and she ends up just lying down on the floor mumbling something. You don't know what she's saying, but at the end of the movie, you learn what she's saying, and it's that she's gonna die at a specific date, and that date ends up being like a couple weeks away. And I also like the fact that her friend just cuts her off and wants nothing to do with her after that, which is kind of messed up. Like, a person like goes into a trance and says they're gonna die in like the next like few weeks, and your first thought is to just never talk to them again instead of warning them. Man, but funny. I like the attention to detail after Veronica has the nightmare of her siblings biting and holding her down. She still has like all the bruises and marks as if like it actually happened. The ending was basically what I was expecting. Veronica sacrifices herself to save everyone else. But what I didn't expect was mainly for her to believe that she was the demon all along. So after watching this movie, I saw that there was a prequel about the one that calls Sister Death, which is the blind nun. Is it worth it to watch that one? And also, I gotta say, this movie's a prime example of why you should not fuck with Ouija boards. The 24th movie on the list was Hereditary, directed by Ari Aster, and was released on the 8th of June, 2018. Now, I had watched about less than an hour of the movie about a year and a half ago. Maybe less time. It was very late and I had work the next morning. I was just like, I can't do this. I'm tired. But, now, this movie is labeled as one of the scariest movies of all time. So, of course, I had to see it fully this time. I like how barely even 20 minutes into the movie, like, Annie and Charlie see the grandmother. It's like, oh, it's already starting. The monologue that Annie shares when she goes to the grief counseling. Nice. Makes me feel like that Toni Collette is actually feeling this way. She's such an amazing actress. Even in like other films that I've seen that she's in, at like I'm Thinking of Ending Things. Amazing job. I also love the slight foreshadowing with the pole when they're first driving to the party. It lingers on it long enough for you to know like something's gonna happen with this specific pole later on. But then when it finally does happen, it just catches you by surprise. It must be so heartbreaking to lose a child. And I feel Collette shows that emotion pretty well. Not even her, but just all three of them. You got the grieving father who's just trying to keep everyone together, trying to like maintain a sort of normalcy. You got the brother or the son that regrets it because he's kind of like to blame almost. And this movie is just crazy in many ways. The scene where Annie is dreaming but thinks she's talking to her son is one, like, Jesus. One thing I noticed during the seance is the candle wasn't lit before the glass had moved. Like, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but it was just like something I was like, oh, wait a second. I love how everyone starts going insane, or some people are somewhat sane and just oblivious to what's happening, like the father. Speaking of the father, I was not expecting him to just burst into flames when the book gets thrown into the pit. I was like, oh wow. I honestly expected nothing to happen. The ending, just in general, is just insane and crazy, and I probably would have done the same as Peter. Screamed and jumped out the window, hoping that the nightmare would end. But of course it doesn't. And then they had that monologue at the end, which, something I want to share is Tara Reid on his latest album, Manifesto. If you listen to the last track, Departure, the whole track, the monologue that they have there is modeled after the ending monologue of Hereditary. So if you listen to that and you listen to the ending monologue, you'll see the similarities. I noticed it when I was watching this. I was like, oh wow. I was like, yeah. I was like, huh, very similar, because it's Tara Reid's favorite movie. The 25th movie on the list was Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, directed by Eli Craig, and was released on the 23rd of September 2010. I'd watched this movie with my father a long time ago, and I absolutely loved it, thought it was hilarious, all those great things. And it's just, this movie's just one big misunderstanding. Everyone thought these two hillbillies were creepy and out to get them. Meanwhile, they're just going to their vacation home and fix it up. I find it funny that Tucker and Dale never even eliminated anyone. They all either got themselves or someone got them by accident. And they didn't even get the last guy. He's still alive. All in all, great movie, very funny. 26th movie on the list was Candyman, directed by Bernard Rose, and was released on the 16th of October, 1992. This is another movie I've never seen. And I like the way that it starts out by having Candyman be a story like Bloody Mary. Like, although I've never tried those things, I do like enjoy them. I do like watching other people do it. I enjoy this movie a lot. It was very interesting. Rest in peace to the forgot his name. I'm so sorry. I just can't think today or tonight. It's very late while recording this. I like the little twist at the end that now Helen is a part of the Candyman story, and then the whole thing like kind of starts with her, kind of starts again, but now it's with Helen instead of Candyman. 27th movie on the list was The Substance, directed by Carly Farjat, and was released on the 20th of February 2024. I added this movie last minute as I heard about it during the same time I was watching a couple like the other movie, like literally like a few days before watching it. I added it. Lots to talk about with this movie. I like the general basis of the story. First of all, there's always something a person wants to improve about themselves, or someone wants to improve something about you because they don't enjoy it. I know there's a lot of stuff I'll change about me because I hate myself. The cinematography is stunning. It's enough to get me hard, and I love the music. The song to go with her walking to the place to get to the substance was great. The sound design is phenomenal, especially during the first like switching scene. The muffled footsteps and breathing, the stitching. It's all done amazingly. The costume designer did an amazing job. There's a lot of nudity in this movie, which I wasn't expecting. Like every time, there was a nude scene, I was like, "There's another one, and another one, and another one." And I feel like a lot of it is like essential to the story. Obviously, like the switching scenes, like the switch, basically it. Getting back on track, I like the fact that Elizabeth has everything she wants as Sue, but then during her time, she just does nothing. She's like, well, what do I do now? The ending is fucking crazy. Sue offs the host and then experiences the consequences of her actions, and then wants to make a better version of the better version, which then creates the monster, I guess. But they did a great job with creating Monster alias Sue. The makeup was amazing. Like, everything was on point. Like, it's like both parts of each of them combined into one being. And like the sort of like metal riff or metal song that's like playing in the background, like while like the blood spraying everywhere. This movie was amazing. I feel like there are a lot of underlying tones in this movie, which I don't even know if I can get into all of them, because like I picked up on a few. I don't know if anyone else, like I'm pretty sure like you can definitely pick up a few of them. Like, oop. So we'll just end this one with one question. Would you take the substance? The 28th movie on the list was Speak No Evil, directed by James Watkins, and was released on the 13th of September 2024. I saw the trailer while watching a different horror movie. James McAvoy is an amazing actor with incredible range. Like, I knew this would be a great movie when I saw him as the villain. For the movie itself, I like how they both meet, well, like both families meet while on vacation. The crazy people invite the normal people out to the country. Things immediately seem off. But I do feel if Patty and Sierra weren't crazy and their personalities were just kind of like that, they would be people I would hang out with. Am I? I feel like I need some tests. I like the scene where Patty takes Ben to kind of scream out to the world. There's something very therapeutic about yelling at even such a beautiful scenery. Me, I just yell in here, staring at a blank wall. And I just want to say, for a person who needs a support stuffed animal, Agnes forgets that bunny quite often. Like it's a little concerning how she forgets it so often, but adds to the story. So, and does his best to warn Agnes of the danger that they're all in. Writing a note. I learned that the note is written in Danish, which makes sense when he takes Agnes to the little bunker and shows her like his real family, the picture of his real family. It takes a while for Patty and Sierra to show the Daltons their true colors. The ending is what you expect. The hunters become the hunted and get downed one by one. And Patty dying at the hands of Ant bashing his head in was revenge for everything they did to him. Everyone did an amazing job acting, even Dan Hugh, who plays the kid Ant. Moral of the story: don't take an invite from strangers you met on a vacation. I feel like there's a lot of movies that start out this way. The 20th movie on the list was Odd Thomas, directed by Stephen Sommers, and released on the 28th of February 2014. Now, before I talk about this movie, I just want to say rest in peace to Anton Yelchin. Now, I've seen this movie more than a few times. It's honestly it's honestly up there as one of my favorites. My father first introduced me to this movie a long time ago. I would say like the same year it was released, I think, or even like maybe like a year after. And I've loved it ever since. But it's been a while since I've seen the movie, so I thought, good time to rewatch it. I love the plot. A clairvoyant who helps a detective without telling anyone else that he can see dead people. And then the Bodaks are a nice touch. Almost like it's even more of a curse that you can see dead people, but now you gotta deal with Bodaks, creatures that'll hunt you down and kill you if they find out you can see them. Excuse me. Wow. Even the design of them are great, and I love the comedy elements of this movie. It's funny, but then when it needs to be serious, it'll be a serious time. The ending, such like a surprise, sad twist. Odd eliminates who he thinks is Varner, but turns out to be a fourth guy. Gets the bomb out of the mall, saves the day. And then he goes back, lives his life with his girlfriend. They get a place, stay together for a while. All is they're happy. And then it's revealed that she's been dead the whole time. And man, it's so sad. Like his friends like talk to him like it's been long enough. And he's like, nah. Deep down he knew that she had died, but he didn't want to accept it. He held on to her this whole time, but then he finally let her go. And this was the only movie throughout the entire list that made me want to cry. I didn't, because I haven't cried in quite a while. I haven't cried in over a year. Such a sad ending. And I know this is based off books. I want to read the books. I want to continue the story. The 30th movie on the list was Talk to Me, directed by Danny Michael Philippou, and was released on the 28th of July, 2023. I thought I just ended the recording. Okay, let me move this. I first heard about this movie from the directors themselves because I follow the Raka Raka Boys for quite some time now. So, another like top 10 of my favorite horror movies ever. Watched it on the Blu-ray that I just showed you, which is how like I literally have it downloaded onto my devices. I can watch it wherever I want. It's a great movie. Talking about the movie, it's a modern day horror movie, essentially. It's like anything happens and people just whip out their phones and just start filming, posting it anywhere that they can and want, with just to man. Like, so much so that it's annoying. When you meet the main character, she's grieving the 2-year death of her mother. She picks up her friend's brother and is driving him home. They see a kangaroo dying in the middle of the street. The right thing to do in that situation would be to put it out of its misery, but she can't do that because it's reminding her too much of death and then her mother. So it was a lot. 18 minutes into the movie is where the audience first sees the hand, which I wish I bought when when A24 was selling it, but I do not have enough money for that. I work a regular job like everyone else. Sophie Wilde does an amazing job acting. Everyone who does like The Possession does an amazing job with acting like a completely different person. The sound design is phenomenal. The makeup is amazing. The cinematography is beautiful. Man. And the scene where everyone is just confused that when Daniel first goes under is funny. He just starts humping the ground and then makes out with the dog. Like, it's not funny to him afterwards, but to everyone it's funny. And then he comes back, he's like, yeah, it's kind of funny. Now, this movie is the reason why I listened to La Foule by Edith Piaf, which plays like when they're all like taking turns, like going through the hand. Everybody's going. Oh, man. And then it all goes downhill when Riley gets a turn, and the one person he gets is Mia's dead mother. Like, come on. And then Riley bashes his skull in. Mia's in shock and walking around, and she sees like her mother, and you're just like, oh no. Here we go. Throughout this movie, you can tell that Mia loves Daniel, who is her best friend's boyfriend, and I've been in not the exact same situation, but similar-ish, being in love with someone who just doesn't love you back. Too many times. The part where the little girl spirit lets in Mia and she sees Riley in limbo getting kind of like ripped apart is pretty fucking crazy. And it's just like, damn. Every vision she sees is just graphic and violent. The ending really ties everything together. Mia eliminates her father, thinking he's trying to hurt her. Then she thinks she's doing the same thing by setting Riley free, but in reality she's gonna kill him. But then I love like the twist, like right after she kills herself to save him, and then she ends up as one you could talk to through the hand, through a different hand too. Whoa, another hand. Yeah, but I can't wait for part 2, which was confirmed like I think a day after like the movie had fully released. Like it was pretty insane. I remember like man, I remember going to see this movie in the theaters, and I was like, every moment I was just like smiling and just like enjoying myself. I was like, this is cinema right here. The 31st movie on the list was Shaun of the Dead, directed by Edgar Wright, and was released on the 24th of September 2004. Another one I learned because of my father. He showed me like the entire Cornetto trilogy, Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, and The World's End. Now, I love Edgar Wright as a director, and I could probably quote a lot of scenes from this movie. A little too much. I love this movie. Probably, like, it honestly might be number one for horror movies for me. Like, the comedy in this is just great. And I love how it's, like, before the zombie outbreak, everyone already seems like they're zombies and they're living, like, this mundane life. Very realistic. I love how Sean tries climbing the side of the wall, trying to get into the apartment. He can't do it the first time. But then when it's a life or death situation is when he can do it. And I love the "it's on random" joke. It's used amazingly throughout the entire movie. First when he gets broken up with, and then the song comes on, they're like, he's like sobbing already. He's like starting to feel better, and then he goes, "Who the hell put this on? It's on random." And then tonight I'm gonna have myself. Who the hell put Queen on? It's on random. It's amazing. Kill the Queen. What? The jukebox. Oh man. No, the cinematography throughout the movies is great. Like, it's amazing. I love when Sean's like, they're like waiting to go outside. They're like, do you see any out there? He's like looking through like the little mail slide. He goes, nope. Slightly turns. Oh, yep. Nope. There's a lot. And I love how they all pretend to be zombies, which has not really been done a lot in a lot of zombie stuff. But I love that it was used in this one. And then when Sean is yelling at Ed, like all the zombies are just kind of like standing there, like waiting for him to be done with the argument for them to like go to them. Oh man, it was like funny. Daniel's little breakdown makes sense. Because he's in love with Liz and hates that she chose Sean instead of him. And then Sean's entrance. And then he just takes control of everything, handling the situation. Let's talk about the scene with the zombie out, because I love Queens Don't Stop Me Now, all because of this movie. Me and my dad, anytime we hear that song, we always immediately just like all because of that one scene. It's very sad when Sean's mother dies. It affects everyone in a different way. Daniel, he tries to shoot her before she turns, and then that turns into a whole argument, and it goes intense, and so emotions being expressed and all this. And then I gotta say, David got what he deserved. This movie does a great job of imitating the style of George Romero's Night of the Living Dead, which I'm very glad I watched before watching all the others, before watching any zombie movie. The ending, Sean having like a mental breakdown because he feels responsible for everybody dying and everybody like turning and stuff. Even his best friend dying a couple feet away from him. They share a nice moment together before Sean leaves, but that doesn't stop Ed from making jokes. Sorry. No. I'm sorry. And then they get saved, and like the zombie outbreak seems like under control. Like they use the zombies for like entertainment and work, which seems true if like a zombie outbreak did actually happen. It's a nice touch. But do you think you would survive a zombie outbreak? Now, that was all 31 movies, but I did watch movies before and after the month of October, because spooky season is never over. The Scream movies were included in that. I watched every single one. It's quite sad that Dewey and Gale never got a happy ending. That's like almost every other movie they would be together. Series is pretty good. One of the things I love is how the characters, like, they know they're in a slasher, but all the tropes still happen all and everything. Especially like the scene where she's like on the couch, also like, oh, look behind you, and then the character in the movie's like, oh, look behind you, and then like it's actually happening behind her too. Man, it's great. I also started the Paranormal Activity series. I only saw the first two, liked them. I also didn't know that they were all connected. I saw like the first one like years ago, so it was like very interesting watching them. I did watch the Crow remake. It's just a very modern take on the original story. Drug addicts find each other in a rehabilitation center, leave, and start a life, and it like it's just very modernized. One thing I definitely didn't like was that the fact that there was that no time had passed after Eric came back. In the original, it's a full year. Everyone knows Eric Draven is dead, so when people see him, it's a genuine surprise. But in this one, when he comes back, it's like only the people that killed him know that he's dead, and it's almost instantaneous. It's like people see him on the street, they're like, I was like, I dress like that. That's it. They're not like, oh my god, didn't he die last year? But, that's life. Hollywood just remaking movies that no one asked for. And I was quite excited for this because of Bill Skarsgård. But, oh well. Another one that I did watch recently, literally a couple days ago, was Beetlejuice. I saw the first one like a few months ago. And I rewatched it essentially. And I saw the second one a couple days ago. I liked it. It was good. I liked this. I like that they kind of gave what's his name? Charles? Why do I want to say Charles? The dad, because the actual person who played him did some stuff. So obviously they couldn't use the same actor. And they didn't even like kind of recast him. They literally just gave him like such a pretty gruesome death. Got into a whole plane crash and then gets eaten by a shark. Which is glad it's funny that they did that. But yeah. Those are just my thoughts on a whole bunch of horror movies that no one really asked me to do this. I just wanted to do it. So, after watching all these, safe to say, I know horror films. I am totally kidding. I still know nothing. I still have a lot left to learn. The main point of watching all these movies was to really watch horror movies that I haven't seen, or that like it's been a long time since I've seen them. And another slight reason was to get inspiration to make my own. I have started the script to my own movie. I still don't have a name for it yet, though. Full-length movie, by the way, not like a short film, not like The Voices, but it's gonna be like similar-ish to that. Similar kind of storyline. which I'll probably like even take moments from that script and incorporate into this one. But I have a lot stuff planned in my head for that one. Excuse me. Wow, why am I burping so much? But I have a lot of stuff in my head that I've planned out for it that I haven't written into it. I have like the first two scenes, two of it like actually written out. So I'm very excited to see like how this one turns out. I've started like the draft in my head again of another one, which will be a little, it'll be similar-ish, I guess, but a little different. But I don't ever want to limit myself. I want to be able to make the music, the gaming videos, and I would love to write and direct and even kind of star in movies. And I've always wanted to make movies ever since I was a kid. I remember recording myself like back when I was a kid, like playing with my Transformers toys and like making like an actual like movie out of it, doing my own sound effects, doing the dialogue for it, like changing my voice to even like sound like like Optimus Prime and Megatron, Bumblebee. Well, Bumblebee doesn't really talk; he uses the radio, but you get what I mean. Even did like scene change, like I would like put the camera up to show like Megatron flying around. I didn't have like a toy that would change. I just had like a little Megatron action figure. So it was just like him, like me, just like literally going wee over the frame. But yeah, I've always had a love to create movies. Even the short film I did for the OTK film submission, the voices was fun to make. I got to be quite creative with even such a short amount of time. Although like I didn't like win anything, like I wasn't even like featured in like the final presentations for it. I still enjoyed making it. It's still up on my channel. You can go back and watch it. Doing these music videos as well is also a great way to like have this express my creativeness. The one I did for Water Overflowing Drowning was a fun one. I waterboarded myself by accident. Which, you know, I'm all for doing my own stunts. Even my album announcement video was a great one to do. Like I had a whole story I built up in my head and executed almost entirely how I wanted it to. Like I wish like I could have done like a little more with it, but because I don't have anybody to help me film, like it's just me and a tripod, so can't really do much, but I loved how it still turned out. I wonder if this film, if any of the ideas I have in my head will ever get created and turn into films or TV shows that I've thought up. It would be nice to see especially this first one that I'm doing get made because of all the ideas I have. And I'm not even like, I haven't even, like, I thought of one other person that could be casted in this movie as the best friend. And that's like, it's not like a big stretch. Like, it's a fun idea for this person. I won't share who, but I think it'll be fun. If you're still watching this, thank you for listening to me talk about a shitload of movies for way too long. Like the video and subscribe. Put on those notifications so you're notified next time I post a video, because I don't want to limit myself to what I do. Subscribe to the music channel. I make original music. And I'll be doing this again next year. Next year I'll focus on sequels. Yeah. But thank you and goodbye.